Welcome to another Katana tone tutorial. I'm Scott, you're watching Guitarnivore. Tonight's request came quite recently, and probably the only reason I'm doing it is because it's a song that I never ever thought about trying to play. Toto's Hold the Line, an excellent classic song, and it's kind of out of the ordinary from the normal hair metal and other metal that I've played before. And I love this song, so I was like, why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if I can get that Steve Lukather tone from this song. And it had its challenges. I had to do some research and find out what he was using and just how to achieve that tone. And I think I got it pretty close. I know one thing I had to do was I kind of had to dial in some more mids in it to give it kind of a nasally sound. So that's what I did. So let's jump right to it. Starting off looking at our chain, I've got the mod in front of the booster on chain 2-2 down here because I wanted a compressor right before the booster. It just sounded better that way. Up here for the amp, I got it set on crunch, and I got the gain just dialed right at 12 o'clock at 50, and the volume kind of high at 91. You'll have to adjust it yourself. The bass is up to 63. The mids are quite higher than I normally would put them at 76, and I kind of explained that a minute ago, kind of had to give that nasally mid sound to it. I got the treble at 61. I've got on vintage cabinet with 73 on the presence. No contour, no tonal globe, shape, EQ. So with all that stuff, let's hear how we're just sounding right now. Not too bad. But when it came to the booster and the drive, it was kind of a slippery slope because I feel like you can dial in not enough drive or too much drive. And when you're listening to the song, it doesn't sound like there's too much, but it does sound like there's a lot. So I kind of had that find that comfortable medium, and I just used simple overdrive, pushing that crunch amp. I've got the drive at 41, tone at 9, the bottom at 10, 45 on the level, and I got the direct mix just turned up to 20 just to kind of mix it with a clean tone. And let's hear how we are now. See, it almost sounds like there's too much, but when I try to dial it back, it doesn't sound like there's enough. So I found a sweet spot, and I just kind of left it there. For a mod, I just have a light compressor on there just to give it a little more sustain. I got the tone at +4, level at 43, the attack turned down, and the sustain at 63. We won't play through that. Let's move on to the effects. I noticed when I was doing the research that Steve Lukather likes to use a lot of chorus. And so I just used the basic chorus here, dialed in the low rates and high rates, 42, 36, 26, 37, 6.5 milliseconds, 39 and 34, and the direct mix all the way up to 100. Just gives a little body. Now I got two delays on here. I've got just a simple analog delay, 206 milliseconds, 16 on the feedback, and 43 on the effects level, 2.5 on the high cut. It just was there when I turned it on. I left it alone. Let's see how it sounds with that analog delay. Nice delay feedback in there. Next up, I'm using the modulate on delay 2 just to kind of give it a layered a feel to it. That is a trick I learned from Mason V on the Synthedelic channel. Check his channel out. But I never used that before until he showed it to me. Well, he didn't show it to me. He showed it to everybody in his video. And I was like, no kidding. I mean, it doesn't add a huge layer effect, but just enough where it sounds like it's almost dubbed. So we got that. I don't have any reverb. The only reason the reverb light is on is when you have the delay 2 on. That's how you control that, the delay level on that. Moving over to our Parametric EQ, I've got an amp out, +7 on the gain, 0 on the low mid, 31.5 on the hertz on the low cut, 250 hertz on the low mid. I got +2 on both the high gain and mid gain, but I've got the high cut down to 4. It takes a little bit of that edge off. It doesn't give it too much treble on there. And I've got the high mid frequency at 1 and the level at 2B. And my noise suppressor over here is at 50. You'll have to adjust that on your own. This is kind of a hot pickup. This has a Seymour Duncan SH4JB, which is kind of a hot pickup. So if your pickups aren't quite that high, you may have to dial in the boost or the gain just a little bit more. So now that it's all dialed in, let's play around and then we'll hear it in the mix one more time. And we'll keep this one fairly short today. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. Download the tone down there. I'll leave a link to Songster if you want to learn the song. The rhythm is really easy. And the solo, I think he just used a clean boost if you want to try to dial that in yourself. Maybe EQ it a little bit in the solo, but that's up to you. If you like this video, hit that like button for me. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'm not begging you, but it helps the channel out a lot. And it makes me work just a little bit harder. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.